Howdy y'all, welcome back to Plain Folk Living. Finally doing the video on the season finale for Fallout Season 2 on Amazon Prime. I'm going to be talking about episodes 5 through 8 in this video. If you have not seen the video going over episodes 1 through 4, I will put a card up above and a link down in the description to that video if you'd like to check that out first, but it's not necessary. So this one, going over episodes 5 through 8, I'm going to be touching on the season finale, and if you haven't seen my other videos, I'm very critical of the show because the show is not Fallout. The entire purpose of the show's existence is for the salty and whiny people at Bethesda to completely destroy and erase the game from 2010 called Fallout New Vegas, because they've been butthurt about this game for 15 years now. Todd Howard, his butt is very sore about this game because this game is a masterpiece. It's one of my favorite games of all time. And if you look at discourse on the internet, many people love this game. The OG fans of Fallout love this game. Many of the people that came into the series from Fallout 3, like I did, we love Fallout New Vegas because it's actually a good game. It's a fantastic narrative, has wonderful characters, dialogue, an incredible setting, incredible story, and Bethesda can't match it. They don't know how to write games. They don't, as the show has proven, they don't know geography. They don't know how to make a solid narrative in their games. They might be able to make like a good sandbox where you can go explore and do all this stuff, but the story is what holds the whole thing together. Like take Starfield, for example, where there's no story to that game at all. I can't remember a single element of the story to that game, and I put over 100 hours into that game right after it came out. I can't tell you anything about the story because it doesn't exist. Was there even a story to that game? You like ran around to different temples and stuff, but I can't think of an actual story myself. So before diving into the first episode, episode 5, I'm going to touch on a lot of the comments on my last video. People were, I say people, it's a small minority. It's the Bethesda fanboys. They were upset that I would spend any time at all talking about Dinky the dinosaur. So to start this one out, we're going to talk about Dinky the dinosaur again, the dinosaur from the location Novak, where in the show they had it facing the hotels, even though it's supposed to be facing outward. But the real life structure that Dinky is based on, the dinosaur in real life, it is made of concrete and steel. So my example of it being made of wood and plaster, the real life version is even heavier and is even going to move less. They're not going to move it at all. But in game, I did get some footage here. The Dinky the dinosaur in game, we can see does have wooden structure because the gift shop inside, it's got wood frame construction. You go up into the mouth, the floor and the roof of the mouth, it's all wood. So it does have a wood construction to it in the game, but it's not going to move. If they try moving that, it's just going to fall apart. And to the Bethesda fanboys, if you want to keep trying to argue your points that have no logic behind them down in the comments, please do. For anybody who is enjoying the show and you are not a gamer, you don't know anything about the games, any of the lore or anything, I don't hate you people. Like the word tourist, if I say tourist, it's like me going to Tennessee, visiting Tennessee, going to Gatlinburg and the Great Smoky Mountain National Park. I'm a tourist. I don't live in that area. I have no stake in what happens in that area. I don't know the things that they've changed, how they made it worse or anything like that. I just go there and enjoy it for a little bit and come back. And I'm nice to the people there. I'm respectful to the people there, but I'm a tourist. And then I'm coming back home. I'm just a tourist. You people that are enjoying the show and you're not gamers, you're just going to watch the show and you enjoy what you watch, and then you're never going to touch any of the games. You don't care about any of the games. So I don't hate you people at all. Just keep that in mind. Many of you people who enjoy the show and never play the games have been very respectful in the comments. I appreciate that. And I enjoy having like the discussion and dialogue back and forth with you all. It's the Bethesda fanboys who maliciously want the old games to be completely destroyed because they hate the people that like New Vegas for no reason at all. They hate those people just because they enjoy New Vegas. They like tearing old things down, great things like Star Wars. It's like the Disney Star Wars fans. They love that the old stuff has been torn down and destroyed. And they love that the new stuff just completely sucks because they can push their worthless colored hair political agendas into it, if you know what I'm saying. This is not a political channel, by the way, but I think you people know what I'm talking about. So let's just jump into episode 5. I'll quit ranting about crap. We'll rant about the show. And I have a list over here just so I can touch on certain things. I'm not going to talk about everything, but we'll start out with episode 5. So episode 4 ended with Lucy and the ghoul going into the strip, and we find out it's infested with death claws for no reason, just so they could destroy the strip. And they escape those death claws, and the death claws just can't chase them, can't follow them for no reason at all. They go into Freeside, and they go through the north gate from the game, which is just a chain link gate with like some corrugated metal barricading it. That's all it is. A Deathclaw could just ram through that, like no problem. In the previous episode in 4, when we see the Deathclaws on the strip, one stands up after it leaves the Gomorrah casino, and it like destroys the concrete entrance to the Gomorrah. But it can't go through a chain link gate. The show writers have no consistency or logic behind anything they do in the show. And let's move on to Freeside, because Freeside has a lot of problems here. So Lucy and the ghoul go into Freeside, and we see them looking back at the gate at the strip. And what do we see on the left-hand side of the screen? Mick and Ralph's. We see the sign for Mick and Ralph's in Freeside. Cool, that's a location from the game. I'm glad that they respect that is from the game and they put it in the show. Except the north gate to the strip is right here, and then they put Mick and Ralph's right here on the left-hand side. That's not where it is. It's just like Novak and Dinky the Dinosaur. People wonder why I was harping on that. They said I'm nitpicking. It's not nitpicking. It's to clarify that the show writers in Bethesda and everybody making the show, they care so little about Fallout that they can't even get a simple location right. A very simple location. If they can't get a location right, what makes you think that they're going to care about anything else in the lore? They're not going to care about any of the bigger stuff, which we see with the show, and them destroying every single faction, destroying every character that we care about, dismantling everything about New Vegas in this entire show. So just another example of them not getting locations right. They couldn't get Shady Sands right. They couldn't get Novak right. They can't get Freeside right. So we see Mick and Ralph's over there, which it shouldn't be there. It's further, way further down the street on Freeside. And then we see they're walking back, and I'll put a picture on screen here. We see the King's School of Impersonation, which again is in the wrong location. It should be over on the left, further down the street. But Freeside is like a functioning town within the show. There's people walking all over the place. The Atomic Wrangler bar is like a functioning bar. People are going in there. They have a bartender. Like, it's a thriving community there. And we see the King's School of Impersonation. So in the last episode, they have Lucy go on her drug-fueled rampage, just wiping out all of the kings that are apparently ghouls now, feral ghouls. That was done for literally no reason. That whole scene where they're killing the kings is nothing but a middle finger to Fallout fans, because we see Freeside as a thriving community, and we see the King's School of Impersonation. It's not destroyed or anything. It's there. So why are the kings feral ghouls, and why are they just outside the walls of Freeside for no reason at all? It's just to give a middle finger to Fallout fans. That's all it is. Let's be honest about that. I've also had comments in previous videos of people saying that, oh, you New Vegas fans, you think that it's some kind of slight against you, what they're doing, but it all makes sense. Like, no, literally nothing in the show, nothing Bethesda and Amazon have done made sense at all. It's all completely illogical. Nothing makes sense. There's no consistency, no coherency to it. So enough with your crap. Stop that. I mean, if you want to leave those dumb comments down below, please do. You're just giving me more engagement on my video, so I appreciate that. So please do leave those comments. Try and make an argument and defend it. If you have some kind of argument, at least try to make an argument, because nobody has done so yet. The show defenders have no arguments to make. They can't make any kind of coherent argument at all. So let's move on from that. The whole thing with the Kings is just, it's to intentionally disrespect Fallout as a whole. But another location, the Atomic Wrangler in Freeside, they show that the ghoul goes in there to get a drink. And, I don't care about this one as much, but they changed the layout inside of the Atomic Wrangler again for no reason. It's, that one is kind of like whatever. I'm not going to harp on that too much, but it's just, again, them just changing things just to change it for no reason. Because the layout of, like, the Atomic Wrangler in the game is fine. But whatever. So we have more flashback scenes. I'm trying not to look at this too much, but there's a lot to go over. We have more flashback scenes. We have Cooper going to the strip with Barb, and he meets Robert House. And then we find out that the Robert House that was at the end of season 1 is a body double, and he's been working as a body double for 10 years for the real Robert House. And there's just no point to the whole body double thing. The only reason that that's in the show at all is because they recast the character of Mr. House for season 2. And I guess they didn't want to fire the other guy because, like, they're like, oh, he didn't do anything wrong. We want to keep him in the show, so let's just write this crap into there. Sure, whatever. It doesn't change anything. It doesn't matter in the show at all. And they still have the character assassination of Mr. House randomly going out on the street and, like, sticking a mind control chip in people's brains and making them beat their friends with baseball bats. So they still have the whole character assassination of Mr. House. That didn't fix that or change that at all, so that's great. And then we have Lucy going back to Freeside, going back to post-war. Lucy is in Freeside, and she goes to a shop. Like, it's a new shop for the show. It's not something from the game. She goes in there, and she is looking to steal some fixer, which in the show they call a dick doll because that's one of the stupid changes in Fallout 4. But she's looking for fixer to get rid of her drug addiction. And she finds a power fist in there. Again, the Fallout 4 power fist. Let's talk about Fallout 4 for just a moment. Another little segue from the show. Fallout 4, the most egregious thing Fallout 4 did was change the art style. And they crapified the entire Fallout franchise and made it an amusement park. So let's take like Nuka-Cola, for example. Nuka-Cola bottles, they used to be, like a classic Coca-Cola bottle. I liked that. And then they changed it to where Nuka-Cola is all about rocket ships, so let's make the bottle a rocket ship. Like, where the hell did that come from? Nuka-Cola isn't about rocket ships. And the bottle design looks stupid as a rocket ship. No, make it the classic Coca-Cola bottle style. That's what it is. And then just, they made everything colorful. They made it a post-apocalyptic amusement park or a circus, a mixture of the two. And it sucks. It just sucks. The power fist, they changed it from like an actual glove like that you would wear, like a power fist like Caesar has in Fallout New Vegas. And they changed it into this like weird, I don't even know how to describe the damn thing. It's just strange. This thing that you like grab with your fist and then it's got a piece in the front that just moves out with hydraulics. And it sucks. So that's the one they have in the show, that Fallout 4 power fist that looks like crap. And so she steals this thing because it costs like 10,000 caps, which she doesn't have, obviously. She's poor like the rest of us. So she steals that and then comes across like a random fat guy wearing tiny clothes. And she finds a body in a trash can. And she's like, oh, did you kill him? And he's just, the character's just all dumb. It's like this weird dumb character. Because with the show, they love having dumb characters for no reason. They have like, from season 1, they have the diaper guy that Lucy comes across, the first Wastelander. And he's like this random guy just wearing a diaper. And his house is like falling apart. And there's sand coming out of his water well. And he drinks like her whole bottle of purified water. And like half the characters you come across are just dumb, completely dumb characters. There's dumb characters in Fallout, absolutely. And then you come across a lot of the intelligent characters in the Wasteland. And this show basically acts like none of them exist. It's whatever. Screw it. So we go back again to pre-war. Cooper and House are talking, and House says Vault-Tec didn't drop the bombs, it's somebody else. Then what was the whole scene from the first season? If it was somebody else, why would Barb even like bring up in a discussion, we're gonna drop the bombs ourselves? Which I'm gonna skip forward just a little bit here because it's shown that Wilzig from season 1, the Enclave guy who got killed very quickly and then they were carrying his head around, is from before the war. So like, every damn character is from before the war. We're going to find out next season that Lucy is actually born before the war too, and she's pre-war. Like Hank and Steph had her as a baby before the war, and then they put the baby in cryo. We're going to find that out in season 3, right? Because every damn character is before the war. It makes the world so boring. Like, I don't know what the hell they're doing. Everything is just cryo. Everybody was in a cryopod. Oh man, characters that were from before the war used to be special in Fallout. You came across different ghouls that were alive before the war, and they could tell you different tales and stories. And then you had Mr. House, who was alive before the war, a very special case. Then you had the Master, you had Harold, these characters who got into FEV, and they had different mutations, but they were alive before the war. And those characters were very interesting and compelling. And now just everybody, half the people you come across were alive before the war. They were just in a cryopod the whole time. It dilutes the world. It makes it very boring. I don't like it. I don't care for that at all. But it's whatever. But then we find out, like, also Will Zig is the one who told Barb to talk in that meeting about how we're going to drop the bombs ourselves and stuff. And it doesn't make none of that makes sense to me. If the show defenders can make it make sense, go ahead and leave a comment down below, and I dare you to try. You're not going to make any of it make sense to me. This story sucks. The story just sucks. It's very bad. The Enclave didn't drop the bombs. Vault-Tec didn't drop the bombs. I don't care whatever mental gymnastics you try and do to make it make sense. So China dropped the bombs first. They attacked America. America nuked them back. Other countries with nukes started launching their nukes. And the Great War happened. That's how Fallout started. In 2077. But sure. And I'm not even going to talk about the Vault stuff much, the Vault-Tec stuff that's happening within Vault 33 and 32, because I don't care about it. You have the whole, like, stupid scene where you have the club where they're eating all the snacks, and then you have the whole conflict with, what's her name, Betty and Steph. And then you find, like, there's a scene where Steph is pre-war also. She's from Canada. Yay. And, she came down, and there's a pre-war scene where she gets with Hank and all this stuff, and we'll talk about her in just a bit, but I'm not going to talk about all that conflict stuff happening there, because it's just filler. It adds nothing of value to the show or to Fallout at all. It's just worthless filler in an already short season. Another little segue here. What happened to TV shows being 16 episodes, or it's like 24 episodes? Look back at Star Trek: The Next Generation. They had like 20 episode long seasons, 26 episode long seasons. Let's look at like The Walking Dead. They started shortening their seasons, but originally, like, I think the first season was like 6 episodes, and then the second might have been like 12, but then they had like 16 episode seasons. They actually could tell all kinds of different stories in there. They could have some filler episodes in there, and it didn't really matter. It didn't detract from it, because they still had enough time to actually tell their stories and, do the things that they wanted to do. And now with stuff like this, it's like, 8 episodes, and half of it is just filler garbage. So literally nothing happens in the season, really. That's the basis of it. At the very beginning of the season, they're supposed to be getting to New Vegas. They don't really set foot inside the Lucky 38. They don't get in there at all until the very last episode of the season, because it's all just filler. Amazing, isn't it? So you have Norm. He's with the Vault managers or whatever, and he's just out in the open with this other gal there who they're having like a connection with. And the other Vault managers are like in the room right next door, and he's just openly talking about, yeah, I'm not one of the Vault managers. I just stumbled across all this stuff, and I'm lying to you all. And so they figure out he's lying, and then that's just a whole another filler thing, because they like tie him up, and then they just all end up dying from rad roaches, and then Norm just leaves. So I actually kind of like the character of Norm. He's one of the ones I don't mind, even though like he just seemed kind of like weak and wimpy in the first season, but I don't mind him too much. He's one of the characters I actually like, because he actually has some intelligence to him. So I like Norm. Same with like Thaddeus. I like the character Thaddeus in the show. Most of the characters I really don't care for. Let's move on back to Ghoul, the Ghoul and Lucy, who are in Freeside. And the weird, like, snake oil salesman guy, I hate that character so much. He doesn't fit in Fallout. He's just there for no reason. They think it's like some funny gag, but don't find humor anytime he's on the screen. I don't see any humor in it. But he's mind controlled by Hank. He's got one of the little devices on his neck. And he shows up and he tells the ghoul that Hank will keep Cooper's family safe if the ghoul takes Lucy back to the vault. And so then Lucy and him can have a bit of an argument there. And, the ghoul's like, well, this is all I care about. You're like a bargaining chip for me to get my family back. So he shoots her with a tranquilizer dart. And, she's like drugged up now and getting woozy. And she falls down and Hank goes over by the window and he starts drinking some alcohol. And then Lucy somehow gets up because the drugs haven't made her pass out yet. Takes that power fist and punches him out the window. And he just falls. He's tumbling down. And you have a giant like spike that's down there on the street. And it impales him. And it goes right through the middle of him. So his spine is severed. That's gone. He's dead. Except he's not dead. Because it's the Fallout show. And the ghoul is invincible. You could rip his body in half. And he'd come back alive like they did with Darth Maul. Nothing can kill this thing. Can kill the ghoul. So he's alive. He's just impaled on this thing. Right through his spine. And he's going to make it through it. Obviously. Because he's invincible. And then we move on. We have Max and Thaddeus. They have to abandon the power armor because Max says they have trackers in those. They could track us. What about the suit that Hank had? Because Hank took a suit of power armor at the end of the last season. And he went all the way to New Vegas. And he went into this Vault-Tec bunker underneath New Vegas. This massive facility. Did the Brotherhood just decide, yeah, we're not going to track that one. We'll just let that one go off. But we definitely want to track this one. I mean, I guess you could say because he's got the cold fusion thing, like that's all they care about, that's all they want, so they're not going to waste time tracking Hank, but they want that. Sure, I guess. And let's see, Thaddeus. Him and Max are talking, and Thaddeus brings up the Boneyard, saying that that's where he's from, the Boneyard. So Max and Thaddeus were neighbors when they were kids, right? Because the Boneyard's L.A., and in the show, they stick Shady Sands right here, right next to L.A. The Boneyard is a city of the NCR. Shady Sands is not in the Boneyard. Shady Sands is 100 miles northeast. I'm never going to just accept the fact that they just teleported Shady Sands, like, all the way across California. It's so stupid. It's one of the dumbest things they've done in the show. And they've done a lot of dumb shit in the show. But if Thaddeus and Max are both from the Boneyard, he's from Shady Sands, then they were just neighbors, right? It doesn't make any sense. Make it make sense. The teleportation of Shady Sands. Show defenders cannot make that part make sense at all. They just say, well, they have to change things for the show. Sometimes you have to do that. It doesn't matter. It does matter because they made the show canon to the games. So if they're going to change everything in the show, then fuck the games. None of the games matter anymore. They don't care about any of them. They're just changing all the locations, destroying all the factions, ruining all of the lore. So why would anybody care about Fallout going forward? At least with Fallout 4, it was on the other side of the country, so it's over on the East Coast. You still had possibility of having stories in the West with the things that we actually care about, but not anymore. Bethesda said no to that. They gave everybody the middle finger. They don't want us, or our money, or our time. That's great. So, going back to the ghoul, whose spine should be gone because he's impaled on this thing. We have a big shadowy figure that comes up and cuts the pole down, pulls him off there, and takes him back to his house, which is in a church or something. And we find out it's a super mutant. It's Ron Perlman with green texture on his face, green paint on his face. It looks ridiculous. And it's just some random super mutant. I'm sure they'll ruin it somehow in the third season. They'll be like, oh, it's Marcus or something, Remember that? Do the key jangle. Remember Marcus, the super mutant? And so the super mutant takes a chunk of uranium that he just happens to have laying around, and he sticks it inside the wound that the ghoul sustained from being impaled. And he just leaves it in there. He's like, there you go. That's going to heal you up. You're going to be just fine. Do I even need to talk about that? Like, it's so stupid. You literally have like a hole through you. The ghoul has a big hole going through him. Super mutant just sticks a chunk of uranium in there. There we go. That's going to heal all of it and close up the wound, and you're going to be fine. All the pieces of muscle and meat and organs that you lost from that thing going through there, that big hole there, yeah, it doesn't matter. It's just all going to heal up. You're like an iguana regrowing its tail, but your whole body. What are they doing? Fallout is dead. They just destroyed everything. They destroyed Fallout completely. It doesn't matter anymore. Fallout's a trilogy. You have Fallout 1, Fallout 2, and then Fallout New Vegas. And I've heard Fallout Tactics is pretty good too, so I'll count Fallout Tactics, which is relevant because in the show they're going to be going to Colorado, and in Fallout Tactics you've got, Cheyenne Mountain Complex, Vault Zero, the calculator. So, I'm sure they're going to ruin all that as well once they go to Colorado, which, speaking of Colorado, for anybody who, has similar feelings to me, you love Fallout, but this show is a desecration of Fallout. You want to see something live action from Colorado. I have something for you all because, the very last episode, I'll just mention this, Cooper, he's heading towards Colorado. So, Inxile Entertainment, Brian Fargo, he worked on original Fallout, and they made the Wasteland games. Inxile Entertainment did. Wasteland 3 takes place in Colorado. And I have a special connection to Wasteland 3 because I used to own a 1986 AM General M35A2C military surplus deuce and a half, which I'll put a picture on the screen here. And I was selling the truck at the time. This was back like 2018, 2019. And I didn't have a place to store it anymore. I didn't have the tools to work on this thing if it had problems. So I was selling it at the time because I didn't want it to just fall into disrepair. And people from Inxile saw my listing for the truck, and they reached out to me, and they wanted to rent the truck for a shoot for a promotional video they were doing for Wasteland 3. And so, we did a contract. We talked about it, and they picked the truck up, brought it up to Denver to a small crew that kind of did a bunch of props and stuff to make it look more like post-apocalyptic or wastelandy. And they filmed up in Black Hawk, Colorado. And if you look up on YouTube, type in Wasteland 3 Bison's Meat Delivery, or I will also have a link down in the pinned comment and the description down below to Inxile's video. It's only about 7 minutes long, but it's worth watching, especially if you want something like kind of live action and, something a little more dark and gritty. And some with some humor too. But it's a good little video, good little short live action video they did as a promotional video for Wasteland 3. And I think it only has like 46,000 views over on Inxile's page. So please do go over there, show them some love, get them some views on that video, appreciate the work that they did, and leave a comment on their page. Let them know that I sent you over there. But that truck there, that used to be my truck that they have in the video, and I'll put a picture up here because we didn't sign an NDA or anything for that. They emailed me a bunch of pictures of the truck when they did it up. So I'll put a picture on the screen here showing the truck itself. And, if anybody's interested in seeing more pictures, I might do like a short video later on just talking about that a little more and showing some more behind the scenes pictures of that truck because it's special to me. I kind of wish I still had that truck, but I'll buy another one someday. But enough of that tangent. Let's get back to Fallout, shall we? So, all right, let's talk about Max and Thaddeus again because the ghoul is left somewhere by the super mutant, and the super mutant leaves, and he's left in this little town that's like abandoned. And Max and Thaddeus are just out at night with a fire, and the Belgian Malinois, who we're assuming is just dog meat, he finds them and like barks at him. He has the hat, and he leads them back to the ghoul. And the ghoul is already healed. Like, he can get up, he can walk around just fine. And, that's whatever. They find a big warehouse that has all kinds of armor and weapons and things from the NCR that was just left there. And the ghoul cuts a rope, and this cloth drops down and unveils a suit of NCR Ranger power armor. Now, there's been all kinds of discussion about this since it was shown, and a lot of people just completely hate it. And I understand why, because the NCR doesn't have power armor. The NCR has like salvaged T45D power armor that the servos are removed from, meaning it's not functional power armor. It's basically just armor. So it's a big, heavy, bulky thing. It doesn't have the power part of the power armor. So the wearer is actually the one trying to move all this armor and stuff. But they have salvaged T45D power armor units, and they don't have actual power armor themselves. Now, I'm not against the NCR eventually having power armor at all. The NCR, by the time of New Vegas, likely has roughly 1 million people within its whole nation state and the different like colonies within that state. And they could absolutely achieve functional power armor. They could figure out power armor training. Maybe they find some old military manuals or something. Or maybe they have information from the Brotherhood that they find after they win more conflicts against the Brotherhood. And, there's enough sets of power armor out there that they could bring those in, fix them up. So I'm not against the NCR having power armor at all. They don't by the time of New Vegas, but this is 15 years after. Maybe they figured out like how to get this one set working or something. I'm not against that. The design of the power armor itself, yeah, it could probably be better in some areas, especially because they use the T60 frame. Use like the T51 or something, I don't completely hate the design. I know a lot of like OG fans are going to hate it, and that's fine. I don't completely hate it. I'm not like a massive fan of it either. It's just there, and I don't really care too much, but something they could have done to make the scene so much better. This wouldn't matter to anybody who hasn't played the games, but they've done this multiple times now. They unveil the power armor and they play the stupid Fallout 4 title theme. Why? Why are you playing that? They did it back in Season 1 also when Lucy grabs the NCR flag and kind of unfolds and it shows the two-headed bear. They play the Fallout 4 title theme. One simple change that could have made the scene so much better and more impactful is if they unveiled it and then they play the Fallout New Vegas title theme. They have access to that. Why not use it? They don't want to use it because they don't want people thinking about New Vegas, because this show is designed to destroy New Vegas. So they want people thinking about Fallout 4 so they can just shit out more copies of Fallout 4 just like they did with Skyrim. Release a new copy of Fallout 4 every single year and people will just eat it up because people are dumb. Consumers are dumb. But that's one small change they could have done to actually add to that scene and make it better. And they just didn't do it. And it'll come up again in just a bit when we talk about the season finale. But let's get on to so the mind control crap. I'm just going to skip over that. I don't care about it. Lucy finds that there's a head of like a pre-war governor who is connected to all the mind control devices, and she destroys it, kills the head, kills the person. And then the mind control devices they still work. So what was the whole point of that? I don't get it. Doesn't make any sense. The mind control stuff is stupid anyway. Doesn't belong in Fallout. I don't care how many comments talk about it does belong in Fallout. No, it doesn't. It does not belong in Fallout. So let's go on to Kevin McAllister. Macaulay Culkin playing the Legion character, who I'm assuming is Lanius. I don't know. But go back to the Legion. You have Caesar's body, who is just a skeleton laying on this hill, and then you have the two sides of the Legion fighting, because the show writers don't understand that the Legion controls like Arizona and half of Colorado and New Mexico and parts of Utah. The Legion is not just the one little camp in New Vegas. No, it's made up of 87 tribes, tens of thousands, probably hundreds of thousands of people making up the Legion. So they don't know anything about the games. They're just trying to destroy what they do know. I don't know. It's just ridiculous. Maybe they do know all this stuff about the games and they're purposely doing this maliciously, intentionally. That's probably more likely. I'm sure Todd Howard wrote down a list like, these are the things you have to destroy. And then they handed it to the show writers at Amazon. They're like, make sure you destroy each of these things in this show. And then he'll be happy. But Kevin McAllister, he grabs Caesar's body while the Legion sides are fighting each other, drags it into a tent, reads the note. Oh, here we go. Character assassination on Caesar himself. It just says, I am Caesar. The Legion dies with me. That's not Caesar at all. That may be what happens to the Legion after he dies. It might fracture and fall apart and just go back to like individual tribes. But that's not what Caesar wants himself. He doesn't want the Legion to die with him. He's trying to build the Legion up to be something that can exist after he dies. That's not the intended purpose of that. Just because other characters say that the Legion is going to die when he dies, that's not what he himself wants. And people don't seem to get that. People have been trying to argue, well, other characters say that the Legion's going to fall apart. Yeah, because that's probably what's going to happen once Caesar dies. Because Caesar is a special character within the world of Fallout. He's very intelligent. He's very tactful. He knows like military tactics. And he knows how to keep this group together using fear and force and power and strength. And when he dies, it's likely that the Legion's just going to fracture and fall apart. Absolutely. But that's not what Caesar himself wants. So he would not write that on a note. I am Caesar. The Legion dies with me. It's so stupid. And then you have, with those two different sides, you had, each of them had their own Caesar with, the little the crown there. And then Kevin McAllister, he takes the crown from Caesar's body there, from the skeleton, puts it on. And they're all like, oh, he's Caesar now. You literally had like two different Caesars. What are you even fighting about? Because then he puts this on and it's like, you're Caesar now. They didn't see the note. They have no proof. They just see him wearing that and they're like, all right, we're all going to follow you now. Like, this is how dumb they try to make all these characters. And I hate it so much. The show sucks. The show is total trash. If you're enjoying it, that's fine. I don't hate you. Go ahead and enjoy the show, especially if you're one of the people enjoying the show and you're capable of having intelligent discussions about it. Where you're like, I enjoy the show for the most part, but yeah, I could definitely see some of the things you're talking about. They could have done this better. Yeah, they screwed up this part here. Or maybe you're like, yeah, I disagree with your points. I like what they did there, but I haven't played the game, so I don't have anything to compare it to. Great. I respect those people. I have no problem with you at all. I'm sure you might have something. You could probably relate to my feelings because you probably have something out there that you enjoy that you've watched be completely destroyed. Star Wars, Star Trek, Warhammer 40K, you name it. They've tried to destroy everything out there. Lord of the Rings with Rings of Power. Of course, they can never touch Lord of the Rings. Like an incredible book trilogy, and then you have The Hobbit, incredible movie trilogy by Peter Jackson. They can never touch those things. They can never destroy them. They can never ruin them. They can only destroy the future of what that franchise could be, just like they're doing with Fallout. They can't take Fallout 1 and 2 in New Vegas from us. They can only destroy the future of what Fallout is. And they're doing it with the show. So, let's go to the NCR Power Armor again. The Ghoul, Thaddeus, and Max, they show up to Freeside, and the Ghoul and Maximus go onto the strip. And Max starts fighting the Deathclaws with the NCR Ranger Power Armor. Cool, whatever. The Ghoul goes into the Lucky 38. Max gets thrown back into Freeside, and now the fight is like on the main street of Freeside. And they once again turn the show into an amusement park, playing their 1950s music over the action that's happening, because Bethesda, for some reason, thinks that that's what Fallout is. Todd Howard did this when he unveiled Fallout 4 back in 2015 at E3. He was like, there's nothing better than when you're in the middle of a fight, the action breaks out, and the song comes on your Pip-Boy. It's like, that's the radio that was added to Fallout. I like it. I like hearing these old songs. I love that kind of music. And it's nice when you're kind of wandering around and stuff, but the actual fights they get into, they're not supposed to be like set pieces to 1950s like doo-wop music, It turns the whole thing into a joke. It makes it an amusement park. And like my family watching this, they don't know anything about Fallout. They know that I like Fallout. They wanted to watch it with me, so I watched it with them and enjoyed spending time with my family, but it's like almost embarrassing what they're watching because they're like, so this is what he likes. And it's like, no, this isn't what I like. This isn't anything close to what I like. This show is not Fallout. I would love for you guys to see the games of Fallout, but I know they're not gamers. They're not interested in that. So, I don't show that to them, and I don't criticize the show in front of them. I save it for these videos because they just want to sit down and enjoy something and enjoy spending time with me too. So, the show is not Fallout. The show and Bethesda's crappy games are just an amusement park, wasteland amusement park, not actually what Fallout is. And then the people of Freeside, they turn them all into morons, and they're just watching Maximus get his ass kicked out there fighting these Deathclaws, and they're just betting on him. They're like, oh, I bet this much he's going to win. I bet this much he's going to lose. And then one character's like, if he loses, then we're all going to die. And then, like, it's just silent for a couple seconds. They're like, oh, I don't care. I bet 20 caps. And I was like, what is this? What is this show? What are you guys... There's no logic to it. The show is just brain dead. It's brain rot garbage. It really is. And so you have the ghoul. He, gives the cold fusion. He inserts that into Mr. House's weird little thing. Mr. House is back online, but apparently his body's dead. He was just uploaded digitally. I guess that's a thing now. And so the ghoul has to wear a Pip-Boy and infiltrates the vault management thing that Hank is in. And while Hank is trying to turn his daughter that he apparently cares about into just a mind control slave and wipe her brain, the ghoul shows up, shoots Hank in the ass. That was entertaining, watching Hank get shot in the ass. I think the actual actors that are in the show, I like them. I think they've done a good job. But they're having to work with literal slop. So they're doing the best they can with the trash that they're given. They're there for a paycheck, just like the rest of us. We got to work for a paycheck. They're doing the best they can with trash that's given to them on a piece of paper. They're like, here's the trash. There's the script for the show. Good luck. And they're doing the best they can. Like Hank's actor, I like him. The Ghoul's actor, Walton Goggins, I like him. Lucy's actress, I don't really know anything about her or what she's been in before, but I don't hate her or anything, even though Lucy's character sucks. Let's move on. So you have Maximus in the power armor fighting the ghouls. The power armor, gets heavily damaged and breaks. He has to leave the armor, and then he's just standing there in his regular clothes, and he finds something to use as a shield and a spear, and he's standing there ready to fight. And then the Deathclaw charging at him gets shot and killed. And he looks up at Thaddeus. He thinks Thaddeus shot him. And Thaddeus is like, no. And he points over. And then it goes over to the other side of the street. Shows a NCR Ranger, veteran Ranger, in the riot gear armor. And it tries to recreate the scene from the very beginning of New Vegas, where you have a Ranger up on the sign and he shoots a sniper and kills a fiend down below in the street. They try to recreate that. And again, they play the Fallout 4 theme when they could have played the New Vegas title theme and actually made that scene better. Like, even if people just hate the scene itself, you could improve the scene by putting the New Vegas title theme on it. But they refuse to do it. They keep putting the shit Fallout 4 theme on everything for no reason at all. Well, I guess there is a reason. It's because they're trying to destroy New Vegas. But you have the Ranger. He kills that Deathclaw. And then you have his battalion of NCR soldiers that comes around the corner. And they tell Maximus, they're like, we got it from here. Great, where were you 20 minutes ago? Where were you the past 15 years? The show can't make up its mind. They act like the entire NCR is just gone and dead because Shady Sands was blown up, which anybody who actually knows about the games knows that that's not the case and not even possible. Like I said, by the time of New Vegas, there's 1 million people in their population. Even if Shady Sands got nuked, they control basically all of California, most of California. They have a ton of people. They have a ton of different towns that would still function, still thrive. They've got soldiers everywhere. They've got a massive military. And then in the show, there's this is what's remaining of the NCR is this one little battalion. Oh man, it sucks. The show sucks. And then Kevin McAllister is marching to New Vegas with the remnants of the Legion, because they think the Legion is just a small group too of 100 guys. And so they're setting up a battle on the strip between the NCR battalion and the Legion, which both of these factions are far more massive than they're treating them in the show. So they're downplaying what's actually happening. But the show basically acts like none of these factions even exist anymore. It's just little remnants of them. Because that's what Bethesda likes. They don't like functioning countries and societies after the post-apocalypse. They want everybody to live in a little shack with trash all over the floor and skeletons on their mattress. Whatever. So Lucy leaves that vault, comes out of the Lucky 38, and is on the strip with her dad, Hank. And she put a mind control device on his neck, one of the little miniature ones. And, I'm just like, what is the point in even keeping him alive? You're just going to turn him into like a mind control slave, so you're no better than he was, really, right? Just kill him. Just kill him and get it over with. You disagree with what he's doing. You think he's evil. And he was trying to make you a mind control slave. Just kill him at that point. Why are you leaving him alive? I don't get it. It doesn't make any sense. It's whatever. And then, it ends with, like I said, the NCR and the Legion. They're both coming to the strip to fight. And then Cooper, the ghoul, he's heading off to Colorado. So, like I said, Fallout Tactics, they have like the Cheyenne Mountain Complex and Vault Zero there. So I'm sure they'll try to incorporate that somehow and make that like one of the management vaults or something, and just erase everything from Fallout Tactics, act like that doesn't even exist, and do their own thing there, and they're going to just ruin the lore even more. So the whole territory that Cooper's crossing, by the way, all of that is Legion territory. So Cooper should be dead again, as usual. But Fallout doesn't matter anymore. Fallout is dead, like my thumbnail says. Fallout is completely dead. The show has killed any remaining hope that there ever was for Fallout. And they're coming out with a third season. So there's no hope for future Fallout at all. Fallout will never be fixed. Bethesda is thoroughly ruining the entire franchise, and there's no hope for it. So I appreciate y'all watching. Please do leave a like on the video. If you feel the same sentiment, if you enjoy this kind of content, subscribe to the channel. I will be doing future videos talking about post-apocalyptic and dystopian media. Not specifically just Fallout. This is not a Fallout channel. This channel focuses on media within the post-apocalyptic and dystopian genres. So it could be books, games, movies, anime, whatever. If it's post-apocalyptic or dystopian, and it's something that I am passionate about, I enjoy, I will be discussing it here, doing like analysis videos or just conversations like this, criticisms of different things if they need them. So stick around, subscribe to the channel, and I appreciate y'all watching. Thank you.